Okay, hello everyone. My name is Sean, and what I'll be doing is teaching you how to speak Japanese. Maybe just the very basics for now, but maybe later we can get into more advanced things. But what I want to talk to you today is about the mindset of speaking Japanese and how you should really think about whenever you go into studying Japanese as a beginner, because I know it's a bit embarrassing for speaking Japanese to a native Japanese person. Probably to anyone else you wouldn't mind, because yeah, they probably don't have a better understanding of it than you do. So first, what you need to really think about is don't think of Japanese as as another language. Think of it as your language. Think of it as your second native language, so to speak. And that can be a bit hard to do, but um, even you think about like this, children have to start from what their parents teach them, or from what they hear as babies, and they're not shy, they're not scared. They just they say it might be wrong, and then the parents will correct them. In this case, Japanese people are very polite, and if you make a mistake when speaking Japanese, usually they will understand what you're trying to say anyways, and they'll not only appreciate that you're trying to speak to them in their own language, that they will also correct you if they feel like, well, not all people will correct you, but most people will give you a bit of help and say, okay, it's not said that way, it's said this way. Another thing to really think about whenever you're starting Japanese, especially as a beginner, and it's always good to work on throughout. I mean, even if you're not a beginner, is pronunciation. I mean, Japanese has some really tricky pronunciation, especially when it comes to the R sound, and we'll come to that later, or maybe a bit earlier, because it's one of the basics, foundations that you'll need to cover. And I'll probably end up covering that in this lesson or the next lesson, and I'll just give you a bit of an oversight on who I am. I'm an American, obviously, but I'm not Japanese. I'm half Filipino. I have been working in a Japanese sushi restaurant for about 4 years now, and I was always interested in Japanese and the culture through anime, of course, and manga, obviously. And from there, I studied at home. I just got a few books from the local bookstore and used online resources, which I will also tell you about later. And I studied like 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. I have a busy life. Everyone has their own lives, so you can't expect someone to study Japanese all the time unless you're doing a Japanese major at uni, which, yeah, to each their own. But what was I saying? Yeah. Yes, I've been working at this Japanese restaurant for 4 years, and when I started working there, I was a bit shy to use Japanese. I said a few words here, and now that I look back at it, I'm sure I was very wrong in what I said. I mean, the words were always wrong. They shouldn't have been the words that they should have been. But yeah, I mean, it was just really using it, throwing it out there, and getting corrected. It really helps tremendously. I mean, you can't understand how much that benefits one person. Another thing is I continued to study. I studied in university. I studied a few tertiary level courses, which helped. I mean, it helps only to some extent, because the teacher is focusing on a large group of people that can't really give you one-on-one time. That's why you need to, whenever you see a Japanese person, you get the chance to talk to one, you make a friend. It's always good to practice with them. And don't be shy, just do it. As well as I've taken the extra classes, not really quite tertiary classes, but they are a bit higher than a community college level classes offered through Sydney University. And those were great. I mean, if anyone who is studying Japanese, I mean, I also promote those courses. I mean, I'm not saying don't take those courses because they're not one-on-one. They're good foundation courses, as well as this video is also supplementary. What really it is how much time you're willing to put into it, how much effort you're willing to put into it, and you you can get rewards pretty fast. I mean, you can speak basic conversational level Japanese in about, I'd say, 6 months if you're working like with me, where I'm surrounded by Japanese people, and I can't help it but to speak Japanese because their English is it's a bit hard to understand at times. So it helps to know Japanese and to speak with them in Japanese. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. It's just a short introduction, and from the next video I'll go through pronunciation, and I will see you then. Hopefully you guys can continue watching these videos and learn something new. Alright, bye.